Hey guys, this is SNAT's Films on YouTube, and it's going to be a tabletop review on the Taurus GX4. So I recently was back on the market for a micro compact, and this is what I ended up with. It's a Taurus GX4 TORO, or optic ready version. What do you get? You get a nice plastic box that I think you can use for traveling. It does have a place for you to lock it, so it should meet TSA qualifications. But do check with TSA and your airline if and when flying with a firearm. Additionally, it does come with two 11-round magazines. These are Mechar magazines. We'll get more on that later, but very happy that they are. Two 11-round magazines. It also came, of course, with the firearm, and it came with two back straps. This is the small back strap that it comes installed with, and then this is the larger one that I swapped it out for, as it is more ergonomic for my hands to have that. It also came with a keychain tool. This is a takedown tool that you can use that flathead there to disassemble the gun. It's also nice that it's a GX4 replica. Kind of neat. This was a surprise. This gun came with the RMR optic plate conversion with the gun. I wasn't even aware that they included these. Everywhere that I would see, people would showcase these TORO versions and then mention that the RMR is something to buy additionally and separately. And in fact, for this SKU on Taurus's website, it shows that you're supposed to buy it separately. This might have been something recent. I'm not entirely sure, but it came with my gun, and I'll take it. It's like probably a $10, $20 part. Now the gun itself. We're clear, we're safe. This gun has been a shocker. My expectations of this gun was that it would just go bang and that everything else about it would be god awful. That has not been the case. I've been very impressed by this firearm. The shootability is in a level that it should not be at for the price point. This gun should just be it should just go bang. But the fact that it's able to do it ergonomically while being one of the most ergonomic micro compacts that I've ever held, being one of the most shootable micro compacts that I've ever shot. And I've owned the Hellcat, the Canik SC9, and the P365, and I've also carried and borrowed a Shield Plus and a Ruger LC9. And this gun, in my opinion, beats them all, regardless of the fact that it's cheaper than the ones I aforementioned, with the exception of the Ruger LC9. That one can be even found cheaper. I think I've seen some for like $200. I could be wrong, but pretty sure I've seen them for like under $200. For about $200. In any case, this gun shoots very well. It has been very ergonomic. While I've only shot 220 rounds through it, it has shot those 220 rounds without any problems. 20 of those rounds were plus P plus. These are very, very spicy 9mm, hitting almost 2,000 FPS out of a 4-inch barrel. Those were Underwood 55 or 52 grain projectiles. They don't even offer them anymore because they were having feeding issues back then. They were very short-lived. In any case, this gun took all 20 of them without any issues feeding them, and it hurt, and I paid the price. I ended up getting a little bit of skin torn off because those things kick a lot, and I mean a lot. In any case, gun has been pretty good. Now, my reliability testing requires me to do testing for 500 rounds minimum with 0 failures. If there is a failure that is not deemed to be the ammunition, then I will do an analysis, figure out where it failed, let the manufacturer handle it. If it's something that I can't fix, or if it's something I can fix, I'll fix it, rerun the course again, 500 rounds. Once it passes, it's able to go into my rotation. Now, for this firearm, I have sort of skipped that due to the fact that after checking out this firearm and inspecting that it's good, I was pretty impressed with the engineering on this. One, double captured springs, metal recoil, double spring recoil setup, and it's metal. Well, mostly. Well, actually, I think it is all metal. Yeah, it is all metal. Sorry, it's a Glock that has metal slash plastic. Sorry, all metal recoil spring with two springs that are captured. Carbon steel slide, carbon steel barrel, very good quality firing pin that's stainless steel, CNC'd from what I can tell. And then, of course, a plastic housing for the firing pin. However, pretty well done because it's very, very secured and very in place in there. There's no wiggle room. Additionally, when looking at the firing control unit, there was more parts that I was impressed with. For one, there is the takedown mechanism, which is this lever right here. And this also attributes. I suspect that this is what when this gun gets assembled, this is what engages the barrel, that little cylinder there. And if I'm not mistaken, it would not surprise me. Let me take a look. So that is the part that also, this part right here, also stops the slide from going all the way back, in the sense that the slide gets captured by the recoil spring and then it gets stopped by this component. This component is CNC'd steel. That component is CNC'd steel. So where it needs to be CNC'd steel, it is. And where they can go with the stamped process, such as the actual firing control unit, they did, compared to a cast, which has higher risks of failures, not by much, but some. Cast does have a little bit higher failure rate, and it's also tends to wear a little bit worse than CNC'd or stamped steel. So stamped firing control unit, which is a plus. CNC components where it needs to be, and where it needs to be very, very strong. Plus, I like that a lot. Whole trigger is metal, minus, of course, the actual trigger itself. Those are plastic and they don't need to be metal. And then on the back, the sear assembly, which I was even surprised that they had a sear assembly, but the sear assembly is cast metal. They could have probably been fine using a plastic or polymer sear assembly, because the only real pressure is going to be the one against the firing pin and firing pin spring, and that's really not a whole lot. But the fact that they use metal is a big plus. So everywhere where they needed to have quality, they have it, and I'm very impressed by that. So I have no doubt that this gun will go through the 500 rounds without any issues. The other part that makes me feel that the gun will be very reliable are the magazines. Medgar has a long reputation of being durable, reliable magazines. They also equally have a long reputation of being not the cheapest magazines. So anytime a manufacturer was coming out with a new firearm and they were like, oh, we're going to use Medgar, there was a large group of people that would say, yes, we're going to get reliable magazines. And then you did have also a group of people that would say, damn it, there goes our hopes and dreams of $20 magazines. Because typically when you saw Medgar on that name, it typically meant a minimum $35 for the magazines and up. So $35, sometimes going up to $50 a mag, just because of the fact that it was Medgar. But you did get what you paid for. And in my experience shooting for 18 years, a good portion of the reliability comes from the magazine. If your magazine is able to feed the bullets reliably and has the proper geometry on the follower for the firearm, it's going to feed very reliably. And the firearm is unlikely to be the cause of the failure if you do have a failure on the ammunition or a failure to shoot. A lot of times it's going to be the ammo or again, the magazine in my experience. I think gun manufacturers nowadays have kind of gotten pretty good at manufacturing and pretty good at design, that you really got to try to fuck up a firearm for it not to be reliable, unless you go with cheap magazines or your own magazines and you don't know what you're doing. Again, Megar, great quality, great mags. I'm super happy that they were chosen for this particular gun. I ended up going to get a 13 round magazine, which is also a Megar. Essentially, it's the exact same magazine as the 11, except the base plate is replaced by an extended housing, polymer housing. But still, you should get the same reliability as the 11 rounds. Overall, if you got any questions, hit me down on the comments. If you have any concerns or you want to say anything, feel free to leave it down there. Thanks.